Hey, what up, everybody? This is David Phreak Turley bringing you an audio commentary for WCReplays.com. This audio is copyrighted by the site, so don't go stealing it, because we'll sue you and get millions of dollars. Mwahaha. But yeah, basically, this is an Undead versus Night Elf matchup. There were a couple requests for Undead games, and I don't know exactly what people came out with recently on the audio staff, but I know I haven't done Undead versus Elf in a long time, if ever, so this should hopefully be, a very fun game for you guys, and you should enjoy it and all that. Let's go ahead and get this to the 2-minute mark at the 1x speed, because nothing really exciting happens until 2 minutes into the game. It's when heroes come out and all that, so let's just get ourselves there. I just got there right now myself, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to get there. I'm at 2 minutes 1x speed. Let's go ahead and do some serious point of view. Fog of War probably going to be off a couple times during the match, so you can leave it off if you want. But I'll be talking a lot about the scouting and harassing and stuff, and in those kind of cases you might want to see the fog. But basically this matchup is going to be a lot about... Well, really, first of all, it's a pretty unique game for the matchup. I wanted to do this game because it was a really good game, but it's certainly very unique, and a lot of it is it's unique to Melting Valley because the map is very big, and that's certainly a concern. But Melting Valley is now one of the big league maps. It's in ladder. Centaur Grove is a somewhat similar map in that it's very large. Knollwood is a map that's in most leagues, and that's a very similar map. Lost Temple, a little bit similar as well, though the lack of a tavern really changes the matchup, so it doesn't really apply quite so much there. But really any big maps, usually bigger than Twisted Meadows, because you can harass pretty easily on Meadows, but on any big map like MV or Knollwood, and if new ones come along the way, this is going to be a viable counter strategy, because Czech is going to do a sort of late tier 1 expansion. Actually, he might have teched, I'm not certain. I'm pretty sure he didn't because of his unit count, but it's a sort of mass Archer Merc Expo strat. So I'm going to be going over that from sort of both points of view, and just in general it's a serious play to win him this game. So let's go ahead and unpause this game. You should be there right now because I talked my your ears off. Let's unpause from 2-minute mark, 1x speed, Susie's POV, in 3, 2, 1, unpause. So 2 minutes 1, 2 minutes 2, 3, and so on. Now, a couple interesting things to note about this map is the map is asymmetrical. You turn off Fog of War real quick, and you see this Ice Troll camp at the very top of the map. There's the Warlord, there's 2 level 2 Ice Trolls, and 2 Trappers. You go to the bottom, and it's a Warlord and 4 Trappers, which means it's more experience and more ensnare on the bottom. And it makes a difference. Also, this if you see where Caesarea is creeping right now, 1 Trapper, 2 regular Ice Trolls, and then up top it's 3 regular Ice Trolls. It's it's asymmetrical. Now, as it turns out, it's the same number of Trappers and Ice Trolls overall between the 2 camps, but it makes the early creeping pattern different. And if you really wanted level 2 or level 3, and you didn't have both those camps as part of your pattern, it's going to make a difference where you spawn. So. In a perfect world, it won't make a difference, but in some cases it will, and that's just something to note, that you will gain more experience for keeping out the bottom big camp. But you can see that, nothing really exciting is going on right now from Czech. He's actually wasting mana, because Black Arrow is only +2 damage at level 1, and okay, fine, he's probably going to regen it, but it's technically a waste of mana, the way he's sort of doing this. And I'm going to laugh if he steals his Trapper. He won't, because he's not terrible, but, one thing to note is, the Ancient of War will do bonus damage to these Trappers, but the Archers will do reduced damage to them. So you kind of want the War to hit the Trappers, and then your Archers and Hero to kind of go for the regular Ice Trolls in the beginning. And then as you get Skeletons, Skellies will do bonus damage to the medium armor targets, and you can sort of go from there. It's a small point, but it exists technically. So what Susie's doing here is he does a really, really interesting playstyle with his creep pattern, and this is really what Undeads should be doing. I mean, I really guess, maybe I shouldn't say interesting, but just smart, because, he starts on the first camp, and basically after he gets the item, he just sort of lets Ghouls and Skeletons finish off the camp, and then he does the same sort of thing where he splits his Ghouls off and gets this easy green camp at the bottom. And, it's kind of an important point, because it does help. Basically what he's trying to do is, everyone knows that elves love to expand, and really if you let the elf creep really hard, it's going to really bite you in the ass. And so you need to be on top of him and harassing as soon as possible, and that's really what Susie's doing here. Is he's getting his level 2 because the Unholy Aura is really, really, really helpful. Really every attribute of that aura is incredibly important. Not only do you get the extra experience, or well, okay, experience, the extra HP and armor and mana from being, level 2, but also you get the Unholy Aura bonus, the HP regen, the move speed, and that's really, really important when you're trying to deal with harassment. When you're trying to harass your opponent, you need to be able to catch up to him. You need to be able to withstand some punishment and still be okay. So Susi tries to block off the archer and he can't quite do it, and so you can see that Czech finishes off the camp quite easily and is very close to level 3, and if he kills a skeleton, will get it, and guess what, there's level 3. So, no, I don't really think that Susi had an easy way of preventing the level 3. I think he kind of would have assumed he'd get it no matter what, and it's a pretty fair assessment because, really it would have been 1 creep before 3, and so you're basically trading a level 1 skeleton for level 2 skeleton. It's not a big deal that he let Czech level, because it really wouldn't have made a difference here. So he's coming in here trying to go for the Wisp, which is very intelligent to do because he's trying to stop the expansion. He basically saw that he was coming down here to go expand, and sure enough, there he is. Now you'll notice that Czech did indeed tech before the expo, and this is, you can whine and complain and say, oh my god, elf imbalance, he teched the next build and he's still macroing. Technically, yes, it's true, but then again, undead is gargoyle, so we'll see how this game goes. But you notice again that from the elf side, you see he had so many archers and this hero, whatever, that he's obviously in really good shape, and he's able to, fight off the Death Knight and these skeletons and all this, and get the expansion up. So, Czech is doing very well. Susi's doing what he can, but he's not able to do very much. But he is tier 2 by now, and he is starting to pump out gargoyles. And he's really, you should really try to pay attention to undead players. And I'm sure most of you know this by now, but pay attention to the extended build order from the undead, when he got the graveyard down, when he got the second crypt, because there's a part of the reason why I think undead versus elf is a little bit undead side is just how fast the gargs actually come out. You're typically able to tech faster than your opponent, and so you've actually got your second unit producing. You're actually making your gargoyles before your opponent's even making the lore, which gives you a lot of time with your gargoyle harassment. Now certainly, your opponent's units are archers, which kind of do well against gargoyles, so it may seem like a moot point, but it's not really, because by the time dryads do come out, you want to have so many gargs that you can just drop them down with like 1 or 2 volleys. And the way this works really is you have the Unholy Aura helping, so that you can actually chase into the dryads very easily. And then you have 8, and you can close to one-shot one of the units. So you see that these gargs do roughly 20 damage per hit, and with the damage type bonus against unarmored units, they're doing really 30 damage a hit. And so you think a dryad has, 435 HP, I believe that's the number. It's 14 hits roughly, and okay, that might seem like kind of a lot, but that's before you have Orb of Corruption, it's before you have the heroes doing